In 1994, Kurt Warner earned $5.50 an hour stocking shelves at a Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls, Iowa. He swept floors, bagged groceries, and told anyone who would listen that someday he would be an NFL starting quarterback. Most people just smiled and nodded. 5 years later, he stood on the field at the Georgia Dome, having just thrown for a Super Bowl record 414 yards and been named the most valuable player of the game. It is perhaps the most improbable journey in NFL history, the undrafted quarterback who went from bagging groceries to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. But how does a player who couldn't make an NFL roster spend his nights stocking cans of beans and end up as the league's most valuable player? The answer is a story of rejection, relentless belief, and the most stunning turnaround professional football has ever seen. Kurt Warner was born on June 22, 1971, in Burlington, Iowa. He grew up in a family that experienced divorce when he was just 6 years old. Football became his escape. He played quarterback at Regis High School in Cedar Rapids, graduating in 1989. He had dreams of making it big, but the college football powers in his own state had other ideas. Despite his high school career, Iowa's top colleges showed no interest. He ended up at the University of Northern Iowa, a Division I AA school where he didn't start a single game until his fifth and final year. That senior season was his only real chance to prove himself. He seized it, earning Gateway Conference Offensive Player of the Year honors. Finally, the NFL might take notice. The 1994 NFL Draft arrived. One by one, the names were called. 222 selections were made. Warner's name never appeared, but he was still determined. The Green Bay Packers signed him as an undrafted free agent. With Brett Favre, Mark Brunell, and Ty Detmer all ahead of him on the depth chart, Warner was the fourth-string quarterback. He was released before the regular season ever began. Warner later admitted he wasn't ready. "I wasn't mentally, emotionally, or spiritually prepared to handle success," he wrote in his memoir. His NFL dream was over before he'd even taken a single regular season snap. Warner returned to Iowa with nothing. No NFL career. No prospects. No clear path forward. He took a job at the local Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls. He worked the night shift for $5.50 an hour, stocking shelves and sweeping floors. He spent afternoons babysitting his girlfriend's 2 children while she was in nursing school. He slept on a cot in the basement of her parents' home. The financial pressure was crushing. He and his girlfriend lived in a basement apartment. They bought groceries with food stamps. Their old car was infested with mice and died whenever they tried to make a left turn, so they planned their routes to only turn right. On a winter night, he ran out of gas a mile from home. He didn't have the money for a fill-up. He started to question everything. "I believed in myself, but after some time it took a toll," Warner later said. "I would think to myself, what am I really doing? Is this a means to an end, or am I prolonging the inevitable?" While his NFL dreams seemed dead, he found an unlikely lifeline. In March 1995, the Arena Football League announced an expansion franchise in Des Moines. Warner gave his Hy-Vee manager 2 weeks' notice. He signed with the Iowa Barnstormers and immediately made a name for himself. In 1996 and 1997, he was named first-team All-Arena. He led the Barnstormers to the championship game in both seasons. He was the best quarterback in the AFL. But arena football is not the NFL. Critics dismissed his success. They said he couldn't translate his indoor game to the pro level. His arm wasn't strong enough. He was too old. He'd never make it. Then the St. Louis Rams came calling. In 1998, the Rams signed Warner as a backup quarterback. He threw just 11 passes that season. When training camp ended the following year, he was still a backup. But in the 1999 preseason, starting quarterback Trent Green suffered a devastating knee injury. He tore his ACL and was out for the season. Warner was suddenly the starter. In an emotional press conference, Rams coach Dick Vermeil, who hadn't seen Warner work with the first-string offense, famously said, "We will rally around Kurt Warner, and we'll play good football." Nobody expected anything. The Rams were supposed to be mediocre. Warner was supposed to be a placeholder. He was 28 years old, and he had never started an NFL game. Instead, history happened. The 1999 St. Louis Rams offense became known as the greatest show on turf. Warner was the conductor. He became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw 3 touchdown passes in each of his first 3 starts. He led the NFL in pass completion percentage, touchdown passes, and passer rating that season. The Rams won 13 games, the second greatest single-season win improvement in league history. Warner threw 41 touchdown passes and over 4,300 yards. He was named NFL MVP. The Rams advanced to Super Bowl XXXIV. Warner threw for 414 yards, still a Super Bowl record, and 2 touchdowns. The Rams defeated the Tennessee Titans 23-16 for the franchise's first Super Bowl title. Warner was named Super Bowl MVP. He didn't stop there. In 2001, Warner led the NFL in all major passing categories, earning his second MVP award. He threw for nearly 5,000 yards and 36 touchdowns. The 14-2 Rams went to the Super Bowl again. The Patriots won that game, but Warner had already become a legend. He was the first undrafted player in NFL history to be named MVP and Super Bowl MVP. The journey from the grocery store to the mountaintop was complete. Warner's career had more twists to come. He was released from the Rams in 2004 after struggles with injury and turnovers. He signed with the New York Giants for 1 season and was benched in favor of rookie Eli Manning. It looked like the Cinderella story was finally over. Then, at the age of 34, he signed with the Arizona Cardinals. In 2008, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, leading the Cardinals to their first Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. In the NFC Championship game, he threw for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 37 years old. In his final playoff run, Warner led the Cardinals to a 51-45 overtime victory over the Green Bay Packers. He completed 29 of 33 passes for 379 yards and 5 touchdowns with no interceptions, one of the greatest postseason games ever played. Warner retired after the 2009 season. He holds the top 3 single-game passing yard records in Super Bowl history. His career passer rating of 93.7 is among the best all time. In 2017, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is the only player inducted into both the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Arena Football Hall of Fame. Larry Fitzgerald, his Cardinals teammate, summed it up. You could see the 2-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. You're kind of just in awe. But his legacy is bigger than any record. He proved that a player who had been written off by scouts, cut by the Packers, and reduced to a $5.50 an hour job could become one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Warner once said of his story, "That's why my story resonates with so many people, because that's what real life is. A story of total adversity, unbelievable failure, and a comeback that makes the impossible seem possible."